Alright, let's try to knock this out the box. Do a 2 hour show real quick. And then I'm gonna go lay down with my wife and watch whatever we watch. So Iran, well, there's talks. There's talks about there being the U.S. and Iran working this situation out, right? So first of all, because this show is based off history and society, there's a lot I want to talk about that I think is being overlooked. That's number one. First, let's go to Donald Trump's Truth Social page. So this was today. Yep, May 10th, 1:52 p.m. And it says, this is on Truth Social. So Donald Trump writes, Iran has been playing games with the United States and the rest of the world for 47 years. Delay, and then finally hit pay dirt when Barack Hussein Obama became president. He was not only good to them, he was great, actually going to their side, jettisoning Israel and all other allies and giving Iran a major and very powerful new lease on life. Hundreds of billions of dollars and a $1.7 billion in green cash flown into Tehran was handed to them on a silver platter. Every bank in the D.C., Virginia, and Maryland was emptied out. It was so much money that when it arrived, the Iranian thugs had no idea what to do with it. They had never seen money like this and never will again. It was taken off the plane in suitcases and satchels, and the Iranians couldn't believe their luck. They finally found the greatest sucker of them all, in the form of a weak and stupid president. This guy's out of control. He was a disaster as our leader, but not as bad as Sleepy Joe Biden. For 47 years, the Iranians have been tapping us along, keeping us waiting, killing our people with their roadside bombs, destroying protests, and recently wiping out 42,000 innocent, unarmed protesters, laughing out our great again country. They will be laughing no longer. President Donald J. Trump. I want to say that I think Donald J. Trump thinks that the white man is stupid. I think he thinks that the white people are stupid. I think he thinks white people are stupid. He has to. I think he's talking to, and this is my own opinion, I think he's talking to who he feels should be spoken to. And I do think the epitome of his vision of America is probably the white family. And he has to be talking to them. Or docile other nations, like other nationalities. But I think that's the core of his demographics of who he wants to talk to. Now, I'm not saying that's the only people that supported him, because I did vote for him and I thought he was going to do the right thing. He did the exact opposite, by the way. He did everything he said he was going to do, he did not do. But there's very few of us that actually understand the history of what's going on. So as I read his post, and that post came out today. And what I find ironic is a lot of things go down on a Sunday, right? There's sports going down. There's people relaxing. They don't want to read the news. So I don't know why these type of conversations, these type of meetings go down. There was some type of meeting in Miami that went down. See if we can come to a peaceful resolution. Today's show, I want to, if that's what we're going to do, if we're going to, what do they call that? Gaslight? If we're going to gaslight the American people, let me read that one more time. If we're going to gaslight the American people, I'm going to tell you the truth today. Winter, I see you in the building. Give me a second. He says, Iran has been playing games with the United States. And then he says, I'm going to dissect this. And then he says, the rest of the world for 47 years. 47 years ago, we're talking about 1979, and there was a revolt. And why did that revolt take place? So, see, most people don't know there was a revolt that happened 47 years ago. So they definitely don't know why it took place. He speaks, every time I hear him talk about the Iranian people, he says they're very bad people, these are evil people. And I guess my frustration comes from, it's no matter who we're talking about over there, they end up being very evil people at the end of the day, right? And then the full story is never told. Well, I got a story today. I got a story about history that you may not have known or you want to hear again. Now, I know you think I'm going to start with the CIA operation to overthrow their leader. I'm not going to start there. I know that's where you thought I was going to start. I'm not going to start there. I'm going to start somewhere else. But before I start there, let me move the chat over just in case you guys want to chime in. Hit the like button when you come in. I don't really care who you vote for. You can say Vance. You can say Trump. I don't care. Whatever you do. I'm only doing this show to show the biasness of YouTube and how it's I did a show earlier. It didn't want me to talk about that, but it doesn't mind me talking about divisiveness. Let's go though. I'm gonna try to be in and out. I got things to do. I want to eat dinner. Let me get some acknowledgements. I got Little Foots in the his house. What's up, Little Foots? What's going on with my? I didn't want this. I just want to show it. You know, I'm starting to hate the Gamma app. I really am. I just want a full screen, bro. That's all I want. You know what? I can't get a full screen. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to start the show. This is annoying me. Hold on one second. I don't even know what's going to happen if I hit this button. There's only one way to find out. Okay, it went away. Alright. Cool.
Let's do it like this. We got Little Foots in the house. We got Winter in the house. Winter, I just started. You didn't miss anything. I just came on, Winter.
Hey, babe. Not you, you idiot. Where's your mom?
She's right here.
So why you answer if I calling her?
I didn't know you called me.
Little Foot says Happy Mother's Day. Little Foots.
Oh, thank you.
She said thank you, Little Foots.
End Time says Jesus died so you can live.
Not today, End Time. Not today. Not today, bro. Jesus dies every day. And he comes back every day. Not today. Please. Jesus dies every day and he comes back every day because Jesus is the Son for man. And the Son of God. Not today. Please. All right. I don't know how to make this. That's the best we're going to get out of this. Let's just start here. Let's do some history. Let's do the history they don't want us to know about. I want to start with the origins of the Ottoman Empire, the late 13th and 14th century. By the way, if you're watching me right now, I don't have any religion, if you didn't figure that out. And I guarantee you that your God is not my God. I would be heavily surprised. It could be, though. But it's probably not. So don't expect too much from me, right? Don't expect too much. I'm not politically correct. What else? I think that's all you need to know. You can come in, you can hit the like button. I'm not politically correct. Subscribe, whatever. The name of the show is the name of my channel is Society. Society, past, present, and future. If you have no indication, I like social studies, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Since your administration, since your government wants to gaslight you, let's talk about history. Now, a little bit about this Ottoman Empire. Founded in 1299 by Osman I in the region of Sagut near modern-day Bursa in northwestern Anatolia.
We got Uncle Andy in the building. Salute.
All right. So Osman I founded the dynasty, and this is why you get the Ottoman Empire. It's kind of named after him, right? Then you got early 1300s. The Ottomans emerge as one Beylik among many in Anatolia, centered in northwestern Anatolia. Now, sidebar, the Beys. You guys didn't believe me, right? This is why I'm not in any group. This is why I'm not in any group, because I'm not accepted by blacks. I'm not accepted by whites. Only the truthful people. The true blacks, the true whites, right? People who are not fucking delusional, they fuck with me hands down. They're like, yo, you got it, Sal, right? But the people who are in their silos and they rather be loyal to their delusion, to lies, and that's a lot of people, bro. That crosses racial boundaries right there. People love to, whatever lies fit their narrative and they think they can win, they're going with it. And that's not just the white man, right? We'll talk about the white man today because he was out here doing some bullshit. We gonna definitely talk about him today. He got caught up in a couple of he got caught trying to divide up land that wasn't even his. And that's kind of how this shit starts. He's out here trying to divide up land. He was trying to play the Arabs. Because the Arabs was fucking suckers. As they should have been played. They should have been played if they... White man almost got away with it too. But he didn't jack off. He got caught. And now we're here. But don't worry. We'll go through all of that in my show. Let me get back to the base though. If everybody just calm down and let me talk to the blacks who are poorly educated by some other blacks with big names. Right? So now you're running around as Bay this, Mustafa that. Right? You guys are Nubians, African Nubians, running around with Arab names. You're fucking totally delusional. You don't know who you are. When I do a show and tell you, yo, bro, you not a Moor, you get tight at me. You get upset. Yo, do you know what Moor means? You know who the fuck I am? You don't think I know what Moor means and the etymology of it? You don't think I know that? I'm telling you, I'm not asking you. It's not up for debate, stupid. You're not a Moor, stupid. These same fucking people was selling your people into slavery, jackass. Then they came and educated you and told you, no, you the original man, black man, the Asiatic black man. You're not a fucking Asiatic black man, jackass. But because so many other people say it, you say it too, because you scared. You like, yo, I guess. Now, the original base was fucking Turks. Are you Turkish? Are you Turkish?
Don't everybody speak it fucking once.
Where's Philly at? All the bays out there. Don't everybody speak. All the bays that sell crack in Philly. Where you at, bro? Shout out to the crack selling bays. Knock it off. We gotta knock it. We gotta do better. Under Orphan Bey, Ottoman forces begin expanding into the Balkans. All right. So what we're talking about here is, at first the Ottoman Empire had a small area. Well, they had an area, right? A region they controlled. But 1326 to 1362, they expand into Lower Europe. They expand into the Balkans. They capture Gallipoli. And this gives them their first permanent foothold in Europe. Now, under Murad I, they rapidly expand across the Balkans, conquering parts of Thrace, Bulgaria, Macedonia, and Serbia. All right? So now the Ottoman Empire has expanded, and I gave you guys some idea of where they started, Turkey, and expanded out to, right? We don't need to go into detail and go into the weeds and all of that. I just want you to have a pretty much good idea of where they expanded to. Let's keep going. And we're going to watch a video today. We're going to watch a video. Winter says you can't get hung up on color when the world is a kaleidoscope. That's a fact. I want to look at some things today. And I really wish they would open up the gates to my show and stop doing that, because I want to talk to so many people. Because there's some hypocritical things going on. We spent so many years fighting what we call communism. And I want to look into communism today. Because ultimately, it feels like we're going to end up right back where they fought against so much. I believe the United States is pretty much headed for communism. For a certain group of people, which is the majority. But they're not saying anything. But I'll let you be the judge of that when we get to that part. Right now, let's talk about the shaping of the Gulf, a century of influence. Let's talk about some things that are not mentioned by President Trump and his stooges of idiots like Pete Hegseth. They're never going to tell you this part. They're only going to keep repeating that the Iranians they're bombing this and they bomb that, and these are very dangerous people. They're never going to say what they did to make these people dangerous. If you cross me, I'm fucking dangerous. If you cross anybody, they'll be fucking dangerous. Did you do anything to cross them? Let's figure that out. You be the judge. From colonial agreements to strategic withdrawals, a series of historical events laid the groundwork from the persistent rivalries and geopolitical landscape of the Persian Gulf today, fundamentally altering Iran's regional standing. All right, 1892, British protection blocks Iran. All right, let's start here. 1892. The exclusive agreement formalized British control over the Trucial States, effectively establishing a naval blockade that neutralized Iran's influence in... No, I'm on a live, babe, thank you. In the Persian Gulf for over a century. This fostered a deep-seated grievance in Iran. Let's do this. Let's do this. What is the Trucial States? Or we close my door? Oh, look at you. The Trucial States were a group of tribal confederacies in the southern eastern Persian Gulf that existed under British protection from 1820 until 1971, when they eventually formed the United Arab Emirates. All right, so there is no UAE at this time. This is where we got to go. Never mind whatever they're talking about. We got to understand what kicked off. What the hell happened? How did we get here? That's what we need to understand. The name Trucial refers to a series of maritime treaties or truces signed between local rulers and the British Empire. Well, why would they do that? Let's find out. The treaties 1820, 1892, initially the British intervened to suppress piracy and the slave trade that threatened East India Company shipping routes. Jesus. Just pause for a second. And again, the Nubian, West African, African American people, they will argue and debate you down about how they are the Moroccans. They're the Moors. And these people were fucking chest deep involved in your enslavement. You have to wake up. You have to wake up. Let's carry on. The General Maritime Treaty of 1820 began this relationship, which culminated in the Exclusive Agreement of 1892. British protection. Under the 1892 agreement, the Trucial States became a British protectorate. The rulers agreed not to enter into relationships with any foreign government other than Britain or cede any territory without British consent. In exchange for what? Britain provided military protection by the sea. Let's just stop right there. Did these Arab rulers move too fast for protection? And why couldn't they protect themselves? What could... Well, maybe they didn't have any money. They didn't have any money because they didn't start mining for oil yet. Thank you, bro. I don't know how... Littlefoots, if you could take the time to explain to me, how does that work? I appreciate you. First of all, let me say thank you. Littlefoot sent 100 for 2 jewels. I don't know how this works. It's so crazy. I see jewels and things and I don't understand. People are paying money. That's real money, Littlefoot. Remember they used to have the super chat? I think they stopped that, and now they got something called jewels, and I'm not familiar with it. I need to familiarize myself with it. But first of all, thank you, Littlefoots. That's where we're going to start. He's out here sending cash. I think he sent 100. I don't know what's going on, but I appreciate it. Even if it's 100 pennies, I appreciate it. All right, let's get back to this. Oh, he said, yes, it is. Thank you, brother. All right. So I think the Arab rulers, they move too fast. But we have to understand, and we're going to watch a video that kind of explains a lot of this. They weren't rich yet. They didn't mine for gold yet. I mean, they didn't mine for oil. Sorry, they didn't drill for oil. They didn't drill for oil yet. So they don't have that going for them yet. Britain maybe has that. I don't know why they had weapons and nobody else had weapons, right? They had a Navy fleet. Why couldn't... I guess the Arabs didn't want to invest in a Navy fleet. Maybe they couldn't. Anyway, this is what happened. This is how that decision of the Arabs seeking out Britain to protect them affected Iran. The blockade effect. These agreements effectively established a naval blockade that neutralized the influence of other regional powers such as who? Iran and the Persian Gulf for over a century. Let's just start there. Thank you. Thank you. Super Chats is still on. Uncle Andy, thank you. So people are sending jewels. They're sending Super Chats. And I do appreciate you. You know, before I did today's show, I kind of thought. I was like, yo, whatever happened to the Super Chats? And I said, I'm not going to ask. Something in my spirit said, don't ask. Just do work. That's it. And that's what I did. And Omar, shout out to Omar. Omar told my... Omar... I'm gonna keep it real, Omar. My daughter told me to give you a shout out. She did. She said that like 2 hours ago. She was like, I said, yo, Omar stayed for the whole 4-hour show. She was like, you gotta give Omar a shout out. I said, he was there at the beginning And then at the very last comment, Omar was like, thank you. It's like, damn. I'm going to stay for the whole 4-hour show. Salute to Omar. Shout it out. She's going to be like, see, I told you.
Thank you, bro. Let me hit the like button on these joints. Thank you, Uncle Andy. And thank you, Omar.
And thank you, Littlefoots. Now, so that we have a better understanding of what's going on, Britain is out here doing monkey shit, blocking things. But in Britain's defense, are they really doing monkey shit? They not. Not yet. They not yet. They just doing what they supposed to be doing. Right? Yo, I protect you. This is regular business. If you think you could protect somebody, like remember that time Trump thought he could protect the vessels going through the canal, Hormuz, the canal. He's like, we'll protect you, and he couldn't do it. Stupid. He's stupid. What are you making promises for, bro? You don't know if you could do that yet. And when he made the promise, that's what I said in my head. I was like, bro, you don't even know if you could protect them. Turns out he couldn't do nothing with them boys. Couldn't do nothing with them. But just make a mess of everything. So, we're talking about a block, a naval block from Britain blocking out Iran. Late 1800s, going into the earliest 20th century, 1900s. The 7 Emirates, the trucial states, consisted of several sheikdoms, which are the same 7 that comprise the modern UAE. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Quwan, Fujairah, and Ras Al Khaimah. Transition to independence. In 1968, Britain announced its intention to withdraw. Oh, that's very important. In 1968, I know Uncle Andy's here. He likes these notes. That's something you want to write that down, because they actually did honor what they said they would do, and that caused the problem right there. If they would have just been the normal white supremacists that they were and reneged on all type of contracts, none of this would have happened. Right? But they was out here on some Scouts Honor shit. Scouts Honor, I'll leave. And they left. They kept their word. And then shit went down. But we'll get there. We don't want to rush it. Right? So let me explain what happened. In 1968, Britain announced its intention to withdraw its military and political commitments east of Suez due to economic pressures. This triggered the rulers of the trucial states to organize a federation. On December 2nd, 1971, the British Protectorate officially ended, and 6 of the states formed the United Arab Emirates. All right? So, we got... Yeah. Fans gives the middle finger to Obama. I don't rock with Obama. Right? I don't say much about him, but I just don't rock with the guy. Not because what he did in Iran, what he did in Sudan. I don't rock with the guy. Not because I heard his wife is a guy. I can tell you who is a guy. That French lady, what's her name? Malcolm or something? That's a fucking guy for real, bro. Allegedly. I don't want to get sued like Candace Owens, but if that is a lady, that is a fucking hideous lady. God forbid. Oh, Jesus. hideous. But this is not about that guy or gal. We're talking about something else. All right, so we spoke about 1892 British protection that protection offended Iran, right? Okay, let's move on to World War I, the rise of Arab nationalism. We have the McMahon Hussein correspondence promising an independent Arab state catalyzed Sunni-led Arab nationalism. All right, so we got this correspondence refers to a series of 10 letters exchanged between Sir Henry McMahon, the British High Commissioner in Egypt, and Sharif Hussein bin Ali, the Sharif of Mecca. In these letters, Britain expressed support for Arab independence in large parts of the Ottoman Empire Arab territories in exchange for Sharif Hussein launching an Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire during World War I. Now, this is kind of crazy, in my opinion, right? Because I would figure, listen, I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, and this is how it went down. Dead ass, this is how it went down. I don't have to fuck with you at all, right? Because we from Westchester. Mount Vernon is in a county called Westchester. So this is how this was like an unwritten rule. And if you didn't abide by this rule, it's going to be unfavorable for you when you get back home. If we somewhere and say I don't really fuck with you, but I know you, but you getting into something and I don't help you, I'm a bitch ass. Right? So we can't be in the Bronx and some Bronx boys is approaching you and I'm just sitting there fucking watching. Unless you was on stupid time. If you was on stupid time, I'm not fucking with you. I don't care. I just let everybody know. Now, he was out there drunk wilding. I'm not fucking with that. But if it just popped off and some Bronx niggas was trying to front on you or something like that, I gotta get involved. Because when we get back to the town, it was like, yeah, he was there. He just let them Bronx boys fuck me up. Right? So no matter where we at, even if I know you, but I can't just let you get fucked up like that. So it's a camaraderie thing, right? It's you and your people before everybody else. Regardless. When I read this history, I was more confused because the British commander had he was the High Commissioner in Egypt. He had the audacity to ask these guys who have a closer affinity to each other than he does to the British European. He had the audacity to ask. He's like, yo, rock with us, right? And revolt against the Ottoman Empire. Right? What was the result? We're going to watch the film anyway. It's going to retell this story. Sorry. But until we get to that video, because I'm not watching that video till later. What was the result of the McMahon Hussein? I'm going to call it an offer. What did Hussein decide to do? The McMahon-Hussein correspondence resulted in a strategic alliance between the British Empire and the Sharif of Mecca, which fundamentally altered the map of the Middle East during and after World War I. The immediate result, the Arab revolt. Following the exchange of letters, Sharif Hussein decided to launch the Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire in June 1916. He committed his forces to Allied cause based on the British promise, conveyed by Sir Henry Macomb, that Britain would support the creation of an independent Arab state in most of the Arab provinces of the Ottoman Empire after the war. So off the promises of these Europeans, he's like, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. You guys say I can have, which is kind of crazy. Right? Instead of him getting together with his folks and trying to get the European up out of it, because the Europeans shouldn't even have no presence in that area. In my opinion, you got enough. Enough is enough is enough is enough. Get up out of here. But he's out here trying to work with them. All right. And he says, yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down to risk a few lives. And you give me my independence? All right. Key outcomes. Military impact. The revolt successfully diverted thousands of Ottoman troops and protected the Suez Canal, assisting the British conquest of Palestine and Syria. This history is so important to figure out why we're here. But no one's ever going to talk about this. They talk about it in isolated cases, and no one puts this shit together. Keep watching. The betrayal. While Hussein fulfilled his end of the bargain, he later felt betrayed when the Sykes-Picot agreement between Britain and France and the Balfour Declaration promising a Jewish national home in Palestine was revealed. You can't make this shit up. Yeah. Yeah. How ironic is that? Your shit is getting bombed by Iran. But why? Because these people never stopped trying to expand, Jack. They was on bullshit from go. And they still on bullshit, but it's so discombobulated that you don't know who is who. Well, first of all, let's start here. These people that's in Israel are not fucking Hebrews or Israelites. Let's just start the bullshit. These is Khazarians. Yeah. These is mostly Europeans anyway. These is descendants of Polacks and Russes, man. Stop the bullshit. And germs. I'm pretty sure you don't call the Germans germs. They have another name. It will come to me mid-sentence as I'm talking. There you go, Uncle Andy. Hello. You see? No one's talking about this. We gotta go back before we gotta understand this bullshit ass play from Britain. Now, let's get into this Sykes-Picot. I want to come back to this. I wrote down British withdrawal and Iranian assertiveness, 1971. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. So, what is the Sykes-Picot Agreement, 1916? This clandestine pact between Britain, France, and, I don't want you to be mistaken, Russia knew about it and approved it. Let me just make sure. Let me just ask Gemini, did Russia know about this Sykes-Picot Agreement? Yes, Russia was not only aware of the Sykes-Picot Agreement, they were a primary party to it. Everybody knew. It was just you jackasses. They was about to carve you up, buddy. Huh? While the pact is commonly known by the names of British and French diplomats, Sir Mark Sykes and Francois George Picot, it was originally a tripartite agreement that included the Russian Empire. Russia's role in the agreement. The negotiations took place between November 1915 and March 1916. Russia's involvement was essential because the Allies needed to coordinate how the Ottoman Empire would be divided to avoid conflict between themselves after the war. Yo, damn. How the secret was exposed. The agreement was intended to remain a secret largely because it contradicted the promises Britain had made to Arab leaders, like the McMahon Hussein correspondence. However, the secret did not hold. The Russian revolt, 1917, when the Bolsheviks overthrew the Russian Tsar, they discovered the secret treaties in the imperial archives. It's crazy. The exposure, seeking to embarrass the imperialist allied powers in the former Tsarist regime, Leon Trotsky published the full text of the agreement in the newspapers. November 1917. Damn. The fallout. The publication caused an international scandal. It alerted the Arab world and the Ottoman authorities that the Allies were planning to carve up the Middle East into spheres of influence rather than granting full Arab independence. So you was never getting your independence, Mr. Arab man. Huh? You was never getting your independence. You thought because you sold some Negroes that they looked at you as equals? I can't figure out that fucking Arab, man. I can't. All that oil and you can't protect your own shit. Like, what type of funny shit y'all on? All that oil. Even Iran. Y'all got more money than United Arab Emirates got more oil than Iran. But Iran sat back and said, nah, these boys is on fuck boy time. We gotta stack missiles, because they gonna be back on some BS. I promise, I assure you this. And they was. I don't understand the UAE at all. All right, let's come on up a little more. The U.S. and Iran, how a king led to the Ayatollahs. Well, let me say this. Let's go back some. Because what happened was this. I want to say 1971, British withdrawal. When Britain did withdraw in 1971, Britain's departure triggered Iran's immediate assertion of regional authority. Right? Iranian forces seized Abu Musa, directly challenging the existing status quo and setting up the stage for permanent Cold War dynamic Iran and its Arab neighbors.
Joker. Ooh, Joker's here. Did I offend you? What I do to you, Joker? Joker said, go back to the projects. Damn. That's cold-blooded. What did I do to you? And you called me bitch. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Good night, Joker.
And, all right, let's start here. The U.S. and Iran, how a king led to the Ayatollahs. A clear-eyed look at the two pivotal eras that shaped one of the world's most complicated geopolitical rivalries, and why the roots run deeper than most people realize.
They got rid of you, Joker.
Joke's on you, buddy. All right, let's look at two things. So Trump keeps saying things like these are very bad people. He mentions car bombs, why they keep bombing, and this, that, and the third. I think America has been used as a fucking puppet. And if it had ever minded its business, I mean, we might be in a better place. But I think we were used to get involved in something by first Britain, right? And we're going to discuss that right now. And more recently by Israel. But if you're following history now, Israel is not, they can't be new, right? Even it's a new state. 1948, they was given a new state. But the ideology of Israel is actually older. And it's the same people that were trying to carve up the Middle East the first time and the Levant the first time. These are the same fucking people, believe it or not. They're the same people. They just rerouted their efforts, right? So if you're not going to give it to me one way, we're going to go get it another way. And the whole thing is, how do we get dominant presence in this area? Multiple parallel channels of attempts, right? So it's not one way. It wasn't just like the Sykes-Picot agreement, but it was also going to be the Balfour Declaration. They were going to keep trying regardless.
We got that. Middle fingers to the Democrat. Yeah, I'm not Democrats, so I appreciate you for seeing a black man and assuming right away that I'm a Democrat. Yeah, I'm not a Democrat. yeah. As a warning, Uncle Eddie hates when I get off topic, right? Especially when he's learning, so good luck with that. Alright,
let's talk about this. Understanding the tensions between the United States and the leadership of the Islamic Republic of Iran requires examining key historical developments. In 1953, right? I stopped there for a reason, because you should have some dates in your head that I told you, right? So you got 1968, you have 1917. In 1953, the United States, along with the United Kingdom, supported a coup that overthrew Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh and helped consolidate power for Shah Mohammad Reza. Let's just start there. Now, Trump is talking all this stupid shit about these are very bad people. They bomb this, they bomb this. Bro, why you didn't mind your fucking business? Not Trump, but why did we mind our business? Why did we get involved in something? I know the answer. It wasn't for our benefit. It was for the United Kingdom. BP oil. That's who it was for. So we use our resources like we do. Right? This is money that we borrow from the central bank. And by we, I mean the United States government. And who's taxed at paying it back? We are, the citizens, the everyday working guy. The milkman, the postman. I don't think we have a milkman anymore. But we used to. He used to deliver to my grandmother's house. Along with the watermelon man. The hard-working man. He's taxed. While we're out here borrowing money to go on covert operations in partnership with other gangsters who want to steal people's land, carve it up. That's what they want to do. Never mind the suits and the shaven faces and yeah, it looks pretty, but in reality, these are gangsters that meet up and say, yo, we got to take that land by any means. And that's all that Netanyahu is. He's a fucking gangster. That's it. He's a gangster with a clean-shaven face. But before we get to him, let's stay focused. In 1953, the United States, along with the United Kingdom, supported a coup that overthrew Iran's elected prime minister. And they put a Shah in place. Now, there's some things you should know about this Mohammad Mossadegh. Here's what you should know. Prior to the establishment of the Islamic Republic, Iran had democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, confirmed by the Shah in 1951 after the vote in Parliament. Mossadegh was a nationalist who led efforts to nationalize Iran's oil industry. He urged that the country's oil resources should primarily benefit the Iranian people rather than foreign companies, particularly the British-controlled Anglo-Iranian oil company. That's why they're upset. That's what this is all about. More European control on the globe. These are the same people y'all say came from caves. You can listen to that shit if you want. I keep telling you, the origin of these people are not even from this planet. But they're not the only ones. There's a lot of people that we call people that are not from this planet. They are now, but the origins are not. And I'm telling you this because this is why they feel they're better than you. It's not because they're white or they have blonde hair. That's actually a defect on this planet. It's not a good thing on this planet. It looks good to me. A lot of black guys say, "Y'all don't fuck with white women." Okay, that's your business. Huh? I like women. And if I was to sit here and tell you that I don't find them attractive, it's like I find all, if I find a woman attractive, not every last female. But there's no female I look like, I don't fuck with Persian women or I don't fuck with African women. No. Especially if she has a good vibe. I don't get down like that. But I get it. Some people can't let that anger go. They fucking tight about, because they do be on some bullshit. I'm not gonna hold. I'm not. European man, he be on some bullshit. He be on some bull. Obviously, as you can see, you cannot trust him. If he says the sky is blue, just double check. I'm telling you. So all of this, check this out. Mossadegh enjoyed widespread popularity in Iran as a champion of national sovereignty. In contrast, his policies were viewed with significant concern in Washington and especially London due to the threat of the Western oil interests and broader geopolitical tensions. So, Britain may be sitting back right now like, hell, we don't have anything to do with that. You do. You started this stupid shit. All of it. Well, Spain's probably started all of it, but I think that was I think this is very important for the American people to know. Before these politicians keep feeding your head about bullshit about car bombs and 47, they're playing games. They don't deserve nukes. Oh, I think they do deserve nukes, actually. I think they do deserve nukes. Everyone else has nukes. I think Iran deserves nukes, god damn it. And I hope they get them. Oh, I hope they get them. Because I don't think for one moment they're going to just bomb the United States. I don't think that at all. The reason I want them to have nukes is so that level, that area is fucking, it's even. Who I don't want to have nukes is Israel. They are maniacs. Absolute fucking maniacs. But they are an extension of these same Europeans that couldn't be trusted from the get-go. Now, I told you I had a video. I think I want to watch some of that video. Let's watch a little bit of that video. Just to give you a better understanding. I want you to have an understanding of history. That's why we're watching the video.
It is the greatest rags to riches story the desert has ever told. From a barren island discovered by a single gazelle to one of the richest places on earth, Abu Dhabi has risen from sand to skyscrapers in barely a century. Today, its sovereign wealth funds surpass $1.5 trillion, with investment interests across the globe. Behind it all stands a ruling family unlike any other. Their rise to power was soaked in blood, wars, economic ruin, and resurrection. the House of Al Nahyan.
Abu Dhabi isn't just a city, it's a global hedge fund with a skyline.
The UAE has saved up over 1.3 million US dollars per citizen. The country will never become poor.
First of all, don't let that go over your head. I don't know if he's BSing with us or not. If he said, he says, what? The UAE has saved up $1.3 million per citizen? Wow.
The Arabian Desert is one of the harshest places on Earth. An endless sea of sand called the Empty Quarter, where temperatures can kill a man in hours and water is more precious than gold. For centuries, a powerful group of nomadic Arab tribes known as the Bani Yas fought, starved, and somehow survived by clinging to a hidden green oasis deep in the southern dunes. A crescent of palm groves and sweet wells they called Liwa. Then, in 1761, a single gazelle led a young sheikh named Diab bin Isa across shallow coastal waters to a barren island. There, against every law of the desert, they found fresh water. He named the place Abu Dhabi, father of the gazelle. Within decades, that island became their fortress, and a great mud castle called Qasr al-Hosn became the beating heart of their new coastal stronghold. But the throne itself remained a blade. Brother killed brother, cousin killed cousin. By the 1850s, the ruling line had fractured once more. Said bin Tanoon is the ruler, and he rules with absolute obedience. When a respected tribal elder dares to question him, Said orders the man seized and executed on a fabricated charge. At first light, the elders confront Said in the Majlis. He is deposed before the sun clears the horizon. The throne is empty. As far as they are concerned, there is but one man that can take the throne. His name is Zayed bin Khalifa. Zayed bin Khalifa was born into that storm. His father, Khalifa bin Shakhbut, had been murdered at a feast when Zayed was barely 10. The boy grew up in Liwa and Buremi, learning the desert's laws. Read the stars, ride without rest, strike first, or die. He became a master falconer, a feared raider, and a mediator who could silence feuding tribes with a single word. By his 20th year, the elders already watched him. In 1855, they choose him. At 20 years old, Zayed bin Khalifa becomes ruler of Abu Dhabi.
Even as a young man, Zayed carried the weight of destiny. Tall, steady-eyed, and spoke little, but acted with absolute certainty.
He now holds the throne, but the realm is still fractured. Tribes chafe under old wounds. Qatar raids the west. The Pearling Fleet is vulnerable. The British watch every move. Zayed sees it all. He is ambitious. He is ready. The conquests are about to begin. Zayed bin Khalifa now sits on the throne, but the desert still refuses to bow. In his first decade, he moves with ruthless speed. He marries his daughters into every major tribe, turning enemies into bloodkin. He reclaims the rebellious Qubaisat section in 1879, ending years of defiance without firing a shot. By the late 1870s, Abu Dhabi controls a vast inland empire stretching from Liwa to the edge of Oman. But a much bigger empire looms large. The British Empire at this moment is the greatest power on Earth. It rules a quarter of the world's land, commands the seas, and protects the route to India like a jealous god. Zayed studies the gunboats in the Gulf and sees the truth. Alone, his sheikdom is prey. Allied with Britain, it becomes untouchable. When London offers the exclusive agreement of 1892, Zayed is the first trucial ruler to sign.
Damn, playboy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can kind of see, I can kind of see where the logic is in that. I'm not gonna sit here in front, but at the same time, again, you selling out your people. So my thought is, all right, why we all don't get together and we make something happen? And I guess his logic would have been, we can't never defeat them. They're too strong. They got the seas. They got all these lands that they've been controlling. We'll never beat them. And you know the saying, if you can't beat them, you got to join them.
In exchange for protection, he gives up the right to deal with any other foreign power. He has traded a little freedom for total security. The desert now has a new guardian. As a result of British protection, Zayed has the stable economy to grow. The pearling fleet swells to over 400 boats. Taxes pour in, 60,000 pounds a year at the peak. He rebuilds Falaj irrigation systems across Al Ain, turning desert into gardens. He erects forts, digs new wells, and makes Abu Dhabi the undisputed master of the Trucial Coast. Population booms. Trade routes.
I'm not going to lie, though. At least he was about his business immediately. No time wasted. No running around doing reckless genocide amongst his people. He got to business, to building up what he needed to build up immediately. That part is admirable.
Outs open. The once scattered Bani Yas become a single wealthy nation. Zayed has taken a collection of tribes and forged them into an empire. It is 1909. Zayed the Great is 74 years old, still tall, still sharp-eyed, but the desert has finally caught him. For weeks, he lies in the cool shadows of Qasr al-Hosn, surrounded by his sons. He knows the end is near. On the night of May 18, he calls them to his bedside one last time, gives each a blessing, then slips away at dawn. The man who forged an empire from sand and blood is dead. The throne is empty and the knives come out. Soon, the succession crisis is about to erupt. It is 1909, and the throne stands empty. The eldest son, Khalifa bin Zayed, is the clear heir, but Khalifa refuses the crown, not once, not twice, but 3 times. He has watched too many brothers die by the dagger. He has seen too much blood spilled inside the family fort. The crown falls to the second son, Tanun bin Zayed. Polio has already twisted his body and left him childless. Tanun is quiet, cautious, and overwhelmed. He takes the throne in 1909 because no one else will. For 3 years, he rules from the shadows of Qasr al-Hosn, trying to hold the tribes together. But his illness grows worse. In 1912, Tanun dies naturally, without an heir. The line of succession is broken again. Power now passes to the third son, Hamdan bin Zayed. Hamdan is more popular than his brothers. He wins support through marriages and favors. But in 1922, the knives come out. His younger brothers, Sultan and Sakr, strike at night. They storm the fort, murder Hamdan in his sleep, and seize the treasury. They find it almost empty. Sultan claims the throne. The cycle of blood has returned with full force.
Power transfer in Abu Dhabi was never peaceful. There was no fixed law of succession. Every son could claim a throne, every mother a faction leader. In the desert, where rule meant survival, the throne was taken by whoever was fastest with a blade. That was the unforgiving culture of the region. Kill or be killed.
Sultan now sits uneasily on the throne, as the country is about to be plunged into an economic crisis. For centuries, the Gulf has lived and died by pearls. Every summer, hundreds of dhows sail out from Abu Dhabi. Thousands of divers plunge 40 feet down, holding their breath for 2 full minutes, fighting sharks, jellyfish, and the bends. They bring up oysters by the sack. The best pearls go to Bombay, then Paris and London. Pearling is not just business, it is life. It feeds every tribe, pays every sheik, and funds the very fort that Zayed built. By the early 20th century, Abu Dhabi's fleet numbers over 400 boats. Pearls are the only real wealth the desert has ever known.
This is crazy. Pearls? These guys are living off pearls?
Then a Japanese scientist named Kokichi Mikimoto changes everything. In 1893, he begins experiments on Ago Bay. By 1905, he inserts a tiny bead and a piece of oyster mantle tissue into a living oyster. The oyster coats the bead with nacre. In 1916, Mikimoto harvests the first perfectly round, flawless cultured pearl. He scales the technique fast. By the 1920s, Japanese pearls flood the world market, identical to natural ones, far cheaper, and produced by the millions.
He created a pearl bubble. It's all good until it's not. You understand?
The collapse is sudden and total. Natural pearl prices crash. The Great Depression finishes the job. In Abu Dhabi, the dhows stop sailing. Divers sit idle on the beach. Captains cannot pay their crews. Whole families go hungry. The treasury that once overflowed with 60,000 pounds a year now sits empty. The pearling economy that built the emirate is dying in plain sight.
The pearling industry was the entire economy. When it vanished, the sheikhs lost their main source of revenue and their main way to buy tribal loyalty. Suddenly there was no money to hand out, no subsidies to keep the peace. The golden age was over.
Sultan now rules a realm that is literally running out of money. The treasury is drained. Tribes grumble for their share. Rival sheikhs smell weakness. The same fort that once rang with the sound of wealth now echoes with hunger and resentment. Something is about to break. Sultan bin Zayed now sits on the throne he seized in blood. It is 1922. The pearling industry is already dying. Japanese cultured pearls have flooded the market. Prices have collapsed. The Great Depression is coming. The treasury that once overflowed is now almost empty. One night in 1926, Sultan invites his half-brother Sakhr to dinner inside the fort. The meal is tense. Sakhr has been plotting. As the coffee is served, Sakhr draws a pistol and fires. Sultan collapses across the table. His young son Khalid is shot in the chest, but crawls away wounded into the night. Sakhr seizes the fort and declares himself ruler. The same family that swore oaths of loyalty has turned on itself again.
It's crazy business. This is crazy business. It wasn't even an economy. I guess. Yeah. Starving to do something to a man. To be honest with you. And I guess he had a better plan. Hopefully.
That dinner was the moment the Nahyan family descended into open murder of each other once more. It was no longer about tribes or territory. It was brother against brother inside the very fort Zayed had built.
Sakhr's reign is short and paranoid. He pays tribute to the Wahhabis to buy safety. He alienates the tribes. He suspects everyone. In 1928, Khalifa bin Zayed, The elder brother who had refused the throne decides enough is enough. He rallies the powerful Manasir tribe, surrounds the fort, drags Sakhr out, and executes him in the sand. The cycle of murder seems unstoppable. Something has to break this cycle, and that something is about to come from the one person no one expected: a woman. Her name is Salama bint Budi al-Qubaisi. She was born into the powerful Qubaisat tribe, the same tribe that once rebelled against the Al-Nahyan. As a young woman, she was married to Sultan bin Zayed, one of Zayed the Great's sons. She bore him 4 boys. She watched her husband murdered at the dinner table in 1926. She watched his killer, Sakhr, seize the fort. She watched the family tear itself apart in an endless cycle of revenge. Through every assassination, every coup, every night of fear, Salama remained the quiet center of the storm. It is 1928. The fort is still stained with Sakhr's blood. The treasury is empty. The pearling fleets rot on the beach. The family is exhausted, suspicious, and armed. The elders fear another round of murder will finish the dynasty forever. Salama gathers her 4 surviving sons in the cool shadows of the fort. She makes them kneel before her. She places the Quran between them. In a voice that carries the weight of every death she has witnessed, she forces them to swear to Allah. No brother will ever again raise his hand against another brother. One by one they repeat the oath and swear on the holy book.
That single moment may have saved the Nahyan dynasty. A mother did what generations of warriors could not. She imposed peace through sheer moral force.
For the first time in decades, the family can breathe in peace. Abu Dhabi is exhausted, bankrupt, and shrinking, but the desert still holds one last secret. Deep beneath the sand, something ancient is stirring, something that will change everything. The oath has been sworn. The cycle of murder has been broken. Now the family turns to the older surviving son. In 1928, at only 23 years old, Shahbut bin Sultan is placed upon the throne of Abu Dhabi. The elders choose him precisely because he is cautious, disciplined, and still untouched by the recent blood.
Shahbut was a man forged by scarcity. Thin, ascetic, with piercing eyes that missed nothing, he trusted almost no one.
He rules with ruthless caution. He hoards every rupee in iron chests inside the fort. Abu Dhabi is still desperately poor. Barasti huts, open sewers, families surviving on dates and dried fish. Shahbut believes the desert has taught him one lesson above all. Wealth always vanishes, so he will never spend. But even this ascetic ruler knows the world is changing. In 1939, he signs the first oil concession with Petroleum Concessions Limited.
All right. You understand?
We here for knowledge.
We here to critically think. And we would like to thank the person who provided this video, because it is entertaining and it will help us to keep a track record of our dates and who did what. So we got this brother here who gets involved with the petroleum company.
Wealth always vanishes, so he will never spend. But even
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Uncle Andy.
It is only so many dates and dried fish that I'm gonna eat before a pistol comes out. I'm gonna be 1,000 with you. At some point, bro, I can't do this. Dates and dried fish?
this ascetic ruler knows the world is changing. In 1939, he signs the first oil concession with Petroleum Concessions Limited. Small signing fees begin to arrive. The drills go down into the sand. They come up dry. Again and again. Setback.
I'm sorry.
But even this ascetic ruler knows the world is changing. In 1939, he signs the first oil concession with Petroleum Concessions Limited. Small signing fees begin to arrive. The drills go down into the sand. They come up dry. Again and again. Setback follows setback. The money trickles in, but the black gold remains stubbornly hidden beneath the dunes. He has very little hope that anything will be found, but he has no idea that beneath his feet, the greatest fortune in Arabian history is about to wake up. Sykes-Picot signs the first oil concession in 1939. The British company Petroleum Concessions Limited pays him a small signing fee.
All right. So what did we find out so far? We found out that Petroleum Concession is a British company. That was their footprint since 1939. They was allowed that opportunity because the Japanese Japanese scientists always doing some experiments. Went a little bit too far, overzealous. He's out here creating fake pearls, inflated the industry, messed everything up for everybody. But on the bright side of things, you did discover that you can create fake pearls by sticking just random things into these clamps. This is important information. 1939, they team up with a British petroleum company.
They drill at Ras Sadr, dry hole. Year after year, the rigs go down and come up empty.
All right. Do we feel that Britain felt like, yo, we invested a lot. We gave a lot. And maybe they feel like they deserve a little bit more respect. I mean, they were looking to do some conniving business. Let's find out what happens. 1958, everything changed. But let's keep in mind, Israel was created in 1948. So that we're already a decade in to the establishment of the state of Israel. So what I'm kind of painting here is, again, there were multiple attempts via multiple channels to commandeer this area. The Europeans were trying to multiple different ways. If they were obvious, they would have got shut down. This is why they're trying secret stunts and, hey, you go over there and say it's because of religious reasons. Nobody is stupid. I mean, you guys don't resemble anybody that would look like you're from that area. And you show you're the descendants. Oh, Scouts honor. We are the descendants of the true Hebrews. Because you don't look like it. Trust me. That's anti-Semitic, what you're saying. And we don't... that's disrespectful. Please. Let's not do this. We are the descendants. Okay. If you say so.
The offshore rig at Shaif, operated by Abu Dhabi Marine Areas, punches through the seabed. On the morning of October 6th, the crew sees it, a thick black column shooting into the sky. The first commercial oil in Abu Dhabi history. The flow is strong. Within months, they confirm reserves large enough to transform the emirate. 4 years later, in 1962, the very first tanker leaves Das Island, loaded with Abu Dhabi crude. The desert has finally spoken.
That single strike at Sheikh changed the destiny of the entire nation. It was the moment Abu Dhabi stopped being a poor sheikhdom and started becoming one of the richest places on earth.
Oil is finally flowing. By 1962, tankers leave Das Island every week, loaded with Abu Dhabi crude. The desert that once starved its people is suddenly rich beyond imagination. Money arrives faster than anyone can count, but almost none of it leaves the fort. Sykes-Picot bin Sultan watches the black gold flow and decides the lesson of the Pearling crash still holds. Wealth always vanishes. He refuses to build roads, schools, hospitals, or even a proper power station. He blocks banks, burns municipal records, and demands 20% of every foreign merchant's profit. The money piles up in iron chests, while the people stay poor. In the mid-1960s, his younger brother, Zayed, realizes enough is enough. He has built his own region into a green oasis with schools and hospitals, and he wants the same for the entire country. The family watches Sykes-Picot hoard millions while the emirate stagnates. Whispers turn to open frustration. The British, who once tolerated Sykes-Picot, now see him as an obstacle. At dawn, the Trucial Omen scouts quietly surround Qasr al-Hosn. Zayed's sons and loyal cousins move into position. No shots are fired. A family letter is delivered to Sykes-Picot. Abdicate or face removal. After hours of tense negotiation inside the fort, Sykes-Picot walks out, head high, and boards a plane to Bahrain, then Beirut.
Yeah, bro, but you could have lost your life, bro. Sykes-Picot, you are lucky. Yo, bro. I'm gonna keep it 1,000, Sykes-Picot. If I was involved, I think you'd have lost your life, right? You out here denying the people the evolution of modern things like hospitals. What are you doing? All because of one pearl crash? You come on, you got way more money. You got enough money, bro. You know what I'm saying, Uncle Andy? Mattress on steroids, bro. Like, come on. Enough is enough. I'm with his younger brother. Enough is enough, bro. Get some roads, bro. What are you doing? You're bugging.
The bloodless coup is over in a single morning. Zayed bin Sultan is now ruler of Abu Dhabi.
Sheikh Sykes-Picot, ruler of Abu Dhabi, an oil-producing state in the Persian Gulf, was deposed today by members of his family, the British Political Residence Office here announced. He was replaced by his brother, Sheikh Zayed.
The miser.
Now let's just stop here for a second. This will help us understand what's going on right now. This is what I'm saying. Society, past, present, future. If currently you don't understand the past, then you won't understand the future. If you understand the past, then you can kind of see where things are going to go and why, more importantly, they're going to go in that way. So, we don't hear much about Britain in this case. There's really no reason to. It was the Brits who helped establish Israel right along with the United States. And I dare say Britain more than the United States. So just because they're quiet, it doesn't mean that they are not involved. Never mind what you're reading. Oh, the Brits don't want any part of this war. Yeah, all right. All of this kicked off because of them. Because they felt like, yo, we invested a lot in these people. Then they get established and then they walk. You want to do this to me? Shoe program. Huh? Pelican Bay. That's how they felt.
Has been removed. The visionary has taken his place, and the desert is about to be transformed forever. Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan was born around 1918 in the date groves of Liwa. He grew up between the oasis and the contested forts of Buraimi, learning to read the stars, ride for days without rest, and speak with quiet authority. As a young man, he was already a master falconer and a daring raider. While his brother Shakbut hoarded every coin, Zayed was appointed Wali of Al Ain in 1946. With almost no money, he restored the ancient Falaj irrigation channels, tripled the water flow, opened schools, and built the first modern clinic. The people called him the Green Sheikh. Everyone saw it. This brother was different. On August 6, 1966, the moment finally arrives. He orchestrates a bloodless coup and ousts his brother. By evening, Zayed bin Sultan becomes ruler of Abu Dhabi. He wastes no time. Within months, he signs contracts worth $70 million to bulldoze the old squalor and build roads, hospitals, schools, desalination plants, and the first airport.
Nice.
He distributes Shakbut's hoarded millions to the people.
Nice.
He gives every citizen land, free healthcare,
Nice.
free education.
Nice.
He turns a medieval sheikhdom.
I'm going to tell you right now, the United States and Britain don't like none of that type of talk. All of that free business, right away they're going to talk about how you a communist. They don't want none of that. And you probably looking at it as humane, but they're going to come up with so many different arguments about why. For all our intelligence, we could never figure out how to have absolute free healthcare. And it's not that we couldn't figure out. It was a stupid conversation because we're dealing with greedy asses. They was never going to let that happen. We have to understand that. So, it can only be chaos in the United States. Chaos could only be coming because of how, if we're going to ever get order, it has to break. This thing has to break. And they messed this thing up. They messed this nation up so bad that it can only go one way. But let's keep listening.
Into a modern state almost overnight.
The Sheikhdom of Abu Dhabi smells of money. The new attaché case, the expensive toilet waters, the imported cigars, the new leather upholstery and $10,000 cars. And it buzzes with men's voices talking of money.
By 1968, Abu Dhabi is no longer poor. It is rising. But even as the skyline begins to climb, a shadow falls across the Gulf. A storm is coming. For more than a century, Britain has been the unseen master of the Gulf. Since the 1820 General Treaty, British gunboats have patrolled these waters, crushing piracy and imposing peace. British officers trained the Trucial Oman Scouts, mediated border disputes, and kept Saudi Arabia and Iran at bay. The relationship has been cooperative, but never equal. The Al Nahyan have lived safely under the Pax Britannica. In January 1968, Britain is broke.
What?
The pound is devalued. The empire is too expensive.
Yeah. Listen, America, I don't know where you think we headed, but it's happened to every last empire.
So Trump could talk big. He's talking big, tough talk, right? But number one, Iran is not giving up its nukes, nor should it. And I totally understand why we want this oil. Because we can remain number one in rank. But if we don't get the oil, there will be a change. There will be a shift. And I'm gonna let you know something right now. I don't think we're gonna get that oil, Jack. I don't think there's gonna be no greater expansion of Israel. Nor should there be. I think that's the worst thing that could ever happen. Israel expansion. I think it was the worst thing that happened that you even gave them land over there. It was bullshit from the start. These people don't deserve land. They deserve to get pushed out right into the Caucasus Mountains.
Prime Minister Harold Wilson makes the historic announcement. Britain will withdraw all forces east of Suez by the end of 1971. The protector that has stood guard for 150 years is leaving.
The British government announced today that it would withdraw entirely from Aden and South Arabia during the second half of this month.
Britain's exit created the largest power vacuum in the modern Gulf. The small sheikdoms were left exposed to Saudi expansionism and Iranian territorial claims. Without Britain umbrella, survival itself was uncertain.
So, there's no way that Iran gets in this position and then they don't hold it as long as possible no matter what. I'm kind of impressed that they even thought to build this underground bunker that they did and their underground systems. If you just listen to Trump alone, his confidence is confusing because he's always talking like we're winning. No matter what is actually happening, he's always talking like, yeah, we're winning. Why would it be any other way? But I think this is a ruse. I think this is an act.
Ayad stands on the ramparts of Qasr al-Hosn and watches the British ships disappear over the horizon. The clock is ticking. He has built an emirate, but now he must build a nation. Before Iran seizes the islands, before Saudi armies move, before the fragile sheikdoms fall one by one.
Now this is where I'm confused. Why isn't Saudi Arabia and Iran working together? I don't know. Y'all look like y'all both. If we're just going off phenotypes, which you probably shouldn't, right? You should not. But I'm gonna say that you guys' cultures obviously different, but you probably have way more in common than Britain. And furthermore, what do you think Britain or any other European is going to do? They're going to get in, they're going to expand, they're going to wipe you guys out. You guys will be lucky if you're slaves. Because that's what they do, if you haven't noticed. That's just what they fucking do. Never mind conversations
when they're wearing suits and they're talking pleasantries. Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater. Easy.
It is February 1968. The British have just announced they are leaving the Gulf forever. Zayed bin Sultan knows the clock is ticking. Late one night, he drives to Dubai. Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum of Dubai waits for him in a modest majlis overlooking the creek. No aides, no guards, just two men and the weight of history. Zayed speaks first, telling Sheikh Rashid that if they remain separate, they will be swallowed by Saudi expansion and by Iranian ambition.
Hello.
Rashid listens in silence and agrees.
That's right.
They shake hands over strong Arabic coffee.
Yeah. That's the only
The
way
secret meeting between Zaid and Rashid was the true birth of the UAE. Two powerful rivals chose unity over pride.
Yes.
It was the moment vision defeated centuries of.
That's what you gotta do. That's the only way. You have to. I'd rather us join together than us be taken out. And he's absolutely right. They would have got taken out.
Suspicion.
The Dubai Agreement is born. The United Arab Emirates begins.
The rulers of 9 Persian Gulf sheikdoms agreed early today on a provisional organization of the federation they formed last February.
Zayed and Rashid travel between emirates, persuading, promising, compromising. Bahrain and Qatar pull out. On December 2nd, 1971, 6 rulers gather in Dubai.
Now, I want us to focus on something. After all we learned, and we ain't done learning yet, but I want you to. We're doing critical thinking right now. We're watching the steps, hindsight. Britain is upset, and they feel like they invested a lot. Britain made the United States. So they're involved. United States, they think they're smart. They put all these U.S. bases, right, in different areas in these lands. Kind of like tax, like just markers. And if they put enough, then when they pull the trigger, they have a strong presence there. I mean, from what I hear, coffee is, even though it comes from beans, I don't know why they consider it a tea too. But yes, it's either going to be tea or coffee when it comes to formal meetings and just culture. Tea or coffee.
They sign the Provisional Constitution. Abu Dhabi becomes the permanent capital. Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan is elected president. Sheikh Rashid becomes vice president. The United Arab Emirates is born. Zayed has united the sheikdoms, but the British are gone. Iran is angry. Saudi Arabia is watching. The real test of the union is only just beginning.
So this thing is deeper than we even think or know. But why not tell us the truth? I guess the truth would be too boring. It would be too, vanilla? Why tell us that why tell the troops this is a Christian war? That's how he started, right? He started. No. Remember when he was praying with Ben Carson? It was like 40 of them, and President Trump was praying to God. I don't know who his God is, but he was praying. He went to praying on him. Please, sir. Turn me into a bird so that I can fly far, far away. Please, God, turn me into a bird. And then, immediately after that prayer, he bombed like 100 schoolgirls. It's ridiculous, right? Then it wasn't even about a religious war anymore. City Bama, what's good, bro? This guy's fucking crazy. Damn, that's a nice.
The United Arab Emirates is born on December 2nd, 1971. 7 proud sheikdoms have agreed to become one country, but the union is fragile. The Northern Emirates are desperately poor. There is no federal army, no central budget, no shared institutions. Tribes still owe loyalty to their own rulers. Then, on the very eve of independence, Iran strikes. November 30th, 1971. Iranian troops storm the islands of Abu Musa, Greater Tunb, and Lesser Tunb. The islands have been claimed by Sharjah and Ras Al Khaimah for centuries. Iran seizes them by force. Sharjah's ruler is forced to sign a humiliating agreement on Abu Musa. Ras Al Khaimah loses the Tumbs entirely. Iranian flags rise over the islands. The young UAE wakes up to its first international crisis.
Iranian troops landed today on 3 disputed islands strategically situated in the Persian Gulf. The trucial state of Ras Al Khaimah immediately protested that 2 of the islands, Greater Tunb and Lesser Tunb, had been invaded and occupied.
Why do you think Iran did that? Because they was on that bullshit before when they went when they ran to the Brits and signed that deal, and it blocked the Iranians. Let me tell you something. The Iranians, they're not gonna forget. They didn't forget. They didn't forget that. They definitely didn't forget that. As soon as the Brits got up out of there, it was like, okay, it's go time, Jack. Because we could have worked together, but y'all wanted to work with the other man instead of the brother man. All right, heard you.
Zayed does not hesitate. He opens Abu Dhabi's treasury and begins pouring money into every corner of the Federation. He builds roads, schools, hospitals, and power stations from Ras Al Khaimah to Fujairah. He pays salaries, funds development projects, and keeps the union alive with oil wealth. Abu Dhabi becomes the banker of the new nation.
The Iranian seizure was the first real test of the UAE. It showed the world and the sheikhs themselves that this union could only survive if Abu Dhabi was willing to share its riches, and Zayed understood that immediately.
But a new storm is gathering on the horizon between Israel and the Arab world. And the tiny new nation of the UAE.
They gave this boy a flamethrower. He don't even know how to use that shit. He definitely look like he about to barbecue his whole toast. He don't know what's going on. Damn. That's crazy. Running around with a flamethrower like that? Woof.
Is about to step onto the world stage. Egyptian and Syrian tanks storm across the Suez Canal and the Golan Heights. The Yom Kippur War has begun. Israel fights for its life. The Arab world rallies. On October 17th, OPEC makes its move. Saudi Arabia.
Let's stop right there. Hold on. Hold on.
Hold up. This is getting good. This is getting good. Tell us about the Yom Kippur War. How did it start? And who did it involve? The Yom Kippur War, was also known as the October War or the Ramadan War, was a major conflict fought from October 6 to October 25, 1973. It remains one of the most significant events in modern Middle Eastern history, primarily because it fundamentally shifted the global economy, forced the world to recognize the power of oil diplomacy. The war began with a surprise attack on the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, which also coincided with Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The aggressors, a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria. Their goal was not necessarily the total destruction of Israel, but to reclaim territories lost during 1967 Six-Day War, specifically in Sinai Peninsula, Egypt, right? The tactic, by attacking on the day when much of Israel's population was fasting, that was smart, and communications were minimized, the Arab coalition made a significant initial gains crossing the Suez Canal and breaking through the Israeli defenses. All right, who was involved? That's what I want to know. The conflict was localized war that quickly drew into the world's superpowers, turned into a cold. Okay, so you had Israel, key supporting players, primary combatants. So Israel, United States provided massive airlift of weapons and supplies to prevent Israel collapse. Of course, it just had invested all that money. Egypt and Syria. Soviet supplied the Arab coalition with advanced surface-to-air missiles. Okay. Arab allies. Iraq, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia contribute. Okay. So, the global impact. The war is perhaps the most famous. Blah, 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 blah. Alright. You're not answering my question. When you say Arab coalition, are you referring to the UAE at that time? Yes, but as one part of much larger group. When referring to the Arab coalition during 1973 Yom Kippur War, it involves several layers of participation. The primary military forces that launched the attack were Egypt and Syria. However, they were supported by expeditionary forces, troop tank. Okay. The UAE specific role. Yeah, that's what I want to know. At that time, the United Arab Emirates was a very young nation, only 2 years old. While it did not have a massive standing army to send to the front lines like Egypt, its role was arguably the most nuclear in terms of global impact. Financial support. The UAE provided massive financial backing to Egypt and Syria to fund war efforts. I get it. They should have got them up out of there. God damn. Alright, let's find out how this ended. The conclusion. The war ended with the United Nations brokered ceasefire. Here we go with the ceasefire. While Israel eventually regained the military upper hand, the initial Arab successes restored Arab pride, eventually led to the 1979 Egypt-Israel peace treaty, where Israel returned the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt, and in exchange for diplomatic recognition, the first such treaty between Israel and an Arab neighbor. Don't trust Israel. Israel can't be trusted.
Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates declare an oil embargo against the United States and any nation supporting Israel. The weapon is simple but devastating. Oil. They cut production by 5% every month until Israel withdraws.
The 6 largest oil-producing countries on the Persian Gulf announced a 17% price increase for their crude oil early today.
Abu Dhabi stands at the very heart of the decision. Zayed bin Sultan fully supports the embargo. He tells his fellow rulers that they cannot stay silent while their Arab brothers bleed. Abu Dhabi's oil becomes a political weapon. Tankers are turned away. Production is slashed. The world's factories begin to grind to a halt. Oil prices explode from $3 a barrel to $12 in a matter of months. Revenues quadruple overnight. Money floods into Abu Dhabi faster than anyone can count. With that money, Zayed begins the greatest building spree the Gulf has ever seen. He constructs roads, hospitals, schools, desalination plants, and the first...
Okay, so again, I'm not understanding why they're not investing in weapons. I think they got their priorities totally misconstrued. Right? I mean, good. You're building, but everybody else is racking up on weapons, bro. And you're just out here like Fredo in Vegas. Huh? Is that why you smack my little brother around? When you think nobody's what are you talking, Mike? Nah, he's just joshing around. Yeah, that's how he play. Fucking UAE's, huh? Fucking Mo dialect smacking him around. He thinks it's a joke. You better get some guns and knock it off. Some fucking weapons.
Modern airport. He funds housing for every citizen, free healthcare, free education. He pours money into the poor Northern Emirates to keep the young federation alive. Abu Dhabi becomes the banker, builder, and protector of the entire UAE. By the mid-1970s, the transformation is staggering. Abu Dhabi's population doubles. New cities rise from the sand. GDP grows by over 300% in 5 years. Schools, hospitals, and power stations appear almost overnight. The once poor Sheikhdom is becoming one of the richest places on earth. By 1974, the young UAE is still fragile. Iran has seized the islands. Saudi Arabia quietly claims large parts of Abu Dhabi's southern desert, including the rich Zarara oil field. Border tensions are rising. Zayed knows the Union cannot survive another war. He flies to Jeddah to meet King Faisal. The two men sit alone. Zayed offers a painful compromise. Abu Dhabi will cede its share of the Zarara field and part of the border in exchange for Saudi recognition of full UAE sovereignty over Buraimi and Al Ain. Faisal accepts. The Jeddah Treaty is signed. Zayed has traded oil for peace and legitimacy. Saudi Arabia drops its territorial claims. The border is finally settled. Zayed has bought the young nation breathing room. The early 1980s become Abu Dhabi's golden age. Oil revenues are still high. Zayed pours the money into the federation. Highways link every emirate. New hospitals and universities open. Housing is built for tens of thousands. The once scattered sheikdoms start to feel like one country. Zayed understood that money alone was not enough. He used it to bind 7 emirates into a single identity. The Saudi treaty gave him the stability to do it. In 1976, he quietly creates the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, one of the world's very first sovereign wealth funds.
Nah, man, not for nothing, man. They may not have got no weapons, but he is a critical thinker. Santiago, what's good, bro? He is a critical thinker. So he's doing some things that's admirable at the same time. I don't respect not. If I see my enemy beefing up, I'm gonna beef up too. But he has confidence. He's like, yo, let's just stay the course. Don't worry about that. There's no time to get distracted. Build the hospitals, build the houses, build the roads, build the schools. And now he's building a sovereign investment fund. Woo! Yeah.
He takes billions in surplus oil revenue and begins investing it across global markets, not for the glory of today, but for the survival of tomorrow.
Nah, that's it. That's it. Respect. And you see what he just did, everybody? You see what he just did? That's the difference between them and America. We don't do anything for us. It's always like smoke and mirrors. Hey, the president's going to give everybody $600. That fucking $600 is tax. You got to pay that $600 back. You got to pay that back. We got to pay that back. Huh? Everybody's dancing for joy. Yeah, the president. I got my money. Good. Put $150 aside because that money's taxed. It's really like $450 he gave everybody. That ain't enough. There's other rulers, there's other countries that really take care of their people off of the resources. Do remember Muammar Gaddafi, man. He was taking care of the people. There are some people who think about their people, about for tomorrow. Whenever the United States talks that sustainability nonsense, it is not what you think it is. It is not really how are we going to sustain. It's not. It's really, they're talking amongst themselves. That conversation does not include you as being included in the sustainability.
Zayed is planting the seeds of a financial empire that will one day be measured in hundreds of billions of dollars. It is a rainy day fund that he hopes he never will have to use. But little does he know, that day comes sooner than he thinks. The 1970s oil boom has made the Gulf rich beyond imagination. Prices hit $40 a barrel after the Iranian Revolution. Revenues flood Abu Dhabi. But the boom contains the seeds of its own destruction. The perfect storm is forming.
Let's go back. Okay, Winter. Make sure you come back, Winter, because I'm actually about to shift gears. I'm sorry. I didn't know you was going to get a call. If I had known you was going to get a call, I would have shifted gears earlier. My bad. All right. I want to shift gears real quick because one, I got to eat dinner. But two, let's get back to the United States. Now, we learned a lot about Britain. Right? So, where did we leave off? The oil nationalization crisis. The problem, Iranian oil was controlled by the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, now known as BP. Britain collected the lion's share of profits while Iran received a fraction. Mossadegh nationalized the industry in 1951, cutting Britain out entirely. Okay, that is a problem. That is a problem. So now we understand Britain felt away about Iran. So this goes back deep. Britain's response. The British were furious. They imposed a crippling embargo on Iranian oil exports and lobbied Washington aggressively, arguing Mossadegh's nationalism was a gateway to Soviet communism, a claim the CIA took seriously during the Cold War. But who are you, CIA? Mind your fucking business. How about that? Anyway, something called Operation Ajax, the 1953 coup. In August 1953, the CIA and British intelligence jointly orchestrated a covert operation, codenamed Operation Ajax, to remove Mossadegh from power. The operation used bribery, propaganda, and until this day, we out here telling people, huh? What we telling these people? Well, let's see. President Trump's Truth Social post that he posted today. He says, Iran has been playing games with the United States and the rest of the world for 47 years. Really? They've been playing games with you? It says, for 47 years, the Iranians have been tapping us along, keeping us waiting, killing our people with their roadside bombs. Really? What do we do to them? Hello? You know what it is? These Europeans get so offended when they don't think you know your place. When they don't think you know your place. So the Iranian people at that time, the leader said, "Nah, I want the resources of this land to feed my people." I'm telling you right now, Europeans got a big problem with that, Jack. As we can see. Muammar Gaddafi tried that same business. Two different cultures. One culture is a blood-sucking culture, and then everybody else, they actually want to be they want to be decent human beings to the best of their ability. Share the resources. And they saying, nah, don't share them resources. So, because Mossadegh nationalized the industry and cut Britain out, Britain was furious, went to the United States, yo, this needs to go down. United States like, all right, I'm with it. You know, I'm with the stupid shit. Don't call me up. Don't threaten me with a good time. In August 1953, the CIA and British intelligence jointly orchestrated covert Operation Ajax. They removed Mossadegh. He was arrested, tried for treason, and spent the rest of his life under house arrest. The power was consolidated in the hands of the new leader, who was called the Shah Muhammad. Now, this is who they wanted in place. We got to understand the history of something. The Shah ruled for 25 years. From 1953 to 1979. So, when President Trump says for 47 years, what he's talking about is when they didn't have a puppet in place anymore. That's what he's talking about. Scorpio says can't grow food in the desert. They was eating dates and dried fish, Scorpio. Now, the Shah was a U.S. ally. For 25 years, the Shah was one of America's most reliable puppets in the Middle East, granting military bases and aligning with Western Cold War strategy. Domestic oppressor. His secret police, Savak, brutally suppressed dissent. Many Iranians saw him as a puppet of Washington. I mean, wouldn't you? That's all you're going to be, because this other guy was giving us, he was nationalizing the resources. What are you doing? Anyway, 1979 revolution. By the late 1970s, resentment had reached a boiling point. Religious conservatives, leftist intellectuals, and ordinary. Let's stop the bullshit. We got all these titles as if these people are just irrational people, and it's not that complicated. Where we need to come with all these technical jargon words and leftists and these titles. Yo, check this out. It's this simple. The other guy, he gave us stipends. The other guy, he invested in the community. The other guy, he gave us some of this money. What are you doing? We haven't received shit since you've been involved. We haven't got nothing. Matter of fact, nothing's been the same since you got here. For 25 years, shit got worse. So miss me with all of that religious conservatives and leftist bullshit. It's real simple. The last guy gave us some of this money, and we didn't even ask him. He just decided to do that. But we were living off of that. You got rid of him, and now we're not getting nothing. So here's the deal. He says Mr. Clean, you say Comet. There was a point in time you go to the corner store and you just bought something that's called ammonia. Blow all that shit out the water, right? You breathe that shit and that shit will burn your lungs, huh? They still selling that? Are they still selling that on the counters? In the aisles? I don't think they are. I went to look for it. Huh? I can't believe they sold that shit anyway. My mother used to tell me, clean the bathroom. What does my mother know? It's just like she didn't even go to fucking school, right? I'm in there. She went to school, though. That's the funny thing. And she went to school to be a nurse before she quit. She had like a couple of semesters ago. Why and how she let me mix fucking ammonia with chloride? I'm just in there trying to get this shit clean, like she said. Man, I don't know what made me stop that shit. But somebody was like, yo, you can't mix those together. That's crazy. I'm like, I can't? Yeah, we had all the products, bro. I don't know why why do households have so many clean to this day? Truth be told, tell you the truth. Just last week, I told my daughter to clean her bathroom. She gets mad at me. I don't know what the fuck she put in that bathroom, bro. But I started smelling like a strong flat Fabuloso. I don't know why we have Fabuloso. We're not Mexican at all. Nobody in this house is even remotely Mexican. So why we have big ass things of Fabuloso, I don't know. But that's not the only thing we have. We have all type of shit here, right? So I'm pointing out what she has to clean. She doesn't like the places that I'm pointing that she has to clean. I was like that too. When my mother told me I had to clean the toilet and behind the seat and all that, I'm like, who? I don't know who I thought was cleaning that shit all this time. Like we had elves. So I'm like, listen, girl, you gotta clean behind the toilet. You gotta clean all of that. Oh, she was like, she said who? Then she looked at me like, who's doing that? Yo, this is your bathroom, bro. This is your bathroom. What are you talking about? Who? I'm not cleaning your bathroom. Oh, she was tight. She said, this is a weekend thing. I said, that don't even make sense. Clean the goddamn bathroom now. This is a weekend thing. Clean the bathroom. She goes in there and does straight debauchery. And next thing I know, she's like, my nose is bleeding. I don't pay any mind because I think she's on fucking stupid time. Sure enough, she done mixed some chemicals. And I had to run out the goddamn house and rush her to the emergency room because she's in here mixing chemicals. Then I had to think, why do we have so many goddamn products anyway? Nothing changes. This is the same as the way I grew up. I grew up with all these products. I had Comet. I had all those things y'all talking about in the comment section. All of them. Mr. Clean. Fantastic. But the killers were ammonia and Clorox. And I used all of them. Well, I don't know what I thought I was cleaning. It's crazy. Exactly, Uncle. Exactly, Uncle. And that's why I said I don't even know how they sold that. So that's why I said I don't think they sell it anymore. Right? But they can't sell it. I can't even go into CVS and buy NyQuil without getting ID'd. Right? So there's no way in the world they're still selling that clear ammonia. But those were the days. Those were the days. If they are still, I would be shocked. Huh? Can you go into? You could probably go into Ace, right? If you buy ammonia in Ace, will they card you? You probably end up on a list. It's not worth cleaning your bathroom, right? It's definitely not worth cleaning your bathroom with ammonia if you're gonna end up on somebody's watch list. Like, I'm good. That's when I'm using Fabuloso. This effing guy says, I know nothing. I'm not telling you where they sell it, and I know where they sell it. I'm just not telling you. You don't have to. I guarantee you I'll be Mexican for that day. I'll be right at the Dollar General buying Fabuloso. I don't want to end up on nobody's list. Omar said, Omar's like, no, they still sell like shit. Look, see? Dead man tell no tales. Look, they still sell like shit. Now I know where my super chats are coming from. Thank you, Omar. Thank you. Let me stay out your business. He came over here balling, huh? He's like, yes, super chats for everybody. Now we know what is going on. Thank you. Let me get back to the show. Huh? Yeah. The 1979 revolution. By the late 1970s, resentment had reached the boiling point. Religious conservatives, leftist intellectuals, and ordinary Iranians united under one banner. The Shah must go. And the Shah had to go. The unifying figure of this unlikely coalition was the Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, a cleric exiled in Paris. Mass protests erupted across Iran. Strikes paralyzed the oil industry and economy. Hold up. I wasn't even planning to go here with this. Hold up. How does the (1953) coup in Iran relate to the Iran-Contra scandal with drugs being used, with drugs being imported, sold in America. The connection between the 1953 coup in Iran and the Iran-Contra scandal is one of historical cause and effect. Uh-oh. Imagine a show created from a show. This is crazy. While they occurred decades apart, the 1953 coup set the stage for the 1979 revolution, which in turn created the desperate conditions that led to illegal arms sales and drug trafficking allegations of the 1980s. All of this because the United States couldn't mind its fucking business. Yeah, because the United States is a careless cowboy. All of this
from them getting involved in something that they didn't have to get involved in, it would cause so much chaos decades later. To this day. We did not make this, no, they didn't help make this land a better land, right? I do believe we could have probably healed some of our racial tensions even earlier than we had. But them bringing in the drugs and it landed in the black communities, and then the black communities losing their goddamn minds, and then the white working class community jealous. Who do they think they are? I'm a taxpaying citizen. You are, but you don't make $1 million a week. You understand? He's running around with gold teeth, looking ridiculous. But what else are you going to do with this much money? The 1953 coup, the original sin. In 1953, the CIA and British intelligence orchestrated Operation Ajax to overthrow the democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh. The U.S. restored the Shah to absolute power. All right, 25 years, right? This resentment culminated in 1979's the Islamic Revolution, which turned Iran from the top U.S. partner into a primary adversary. Right? So they got enough was enough. The Islamic Revolution, all the communities got together and they got rid of the Shah's stupid ass because he was a stingy, pencil neck idiot and puppet for the United States and Britain. Well, they got his stupid ass up out of there. And now Britain and America are really tight because they're like, yo, damn, shit was nice for like 25 years, bro. Fuck, boy. So now they want revenge. So when President Trump says, for 47 years, let me just show you. I want you to understand how hypocritical his text is, his tweet is. Iran has been playing games with the United States. Now it's fucking comical. Now you read it with such, it's just stupid. Iran has been playing games with the United States and the rest of the world for 47 years? What are you talking about, bro? Delay. And finally hit pay dirt. Alright, forget all of that. Then they come down here and he says, for 47 years, the Iranians have been tapping us along, keeping us waiting, killing our people with their roadside. Shut up. Shut up. Oh my gosh, Uncle Andy. This is what I'm saying. And this is why it's important. Sometimes, you know why I play the game, the YouTube game? Because I like, when I act like I'm on good behavior and then I get a large following over here, people start following me. I'm really hoping to get the white middle class demographics so that I could trick them into listening. But it never works because I can't trick the black people into listening. But sometimes they do listen. So I shouldn't say it never works. But I don't get the amount of people that I probably want. But I do get some. And my thinking is, if I could just get some of them to listen to me instead of being so extreme and listening to this rhetoric. Because remember, I taught y'all
that propaganda is legal. Propaganda is legal via, it's not an executive. Was it an executive, Uncle Andy? Let me ask Gemini. Is 10.2 and 10.5 a executive order or something else? They're gonna tell me right now. It was the National Security Council. That's what it was. So, in government context, these most likely refer to the National Security Council (NSC) directives from early Cold War. Right. So we have the NSC 10-2, 1948. This was a landmark directive that authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations. It defined these operations as activities sponsored by the U.S. government against hostile foreign states, but designed that the U.S. government responsibility for them was not evident. This followed up on 10.2 by expanding 10.5. 10.5 followed up on 10.2 by expanding the CIA's authority and calling for a intensification of covert operations, particularly in response to the growing tensions. Long story short, did they legalize propaganda? Question mark. The short answer is it depends how you are defined legalized. That is not the short answer. The short answer is yes, because if it was no, you would have said no. So, it is, in fact, I am correct. They legalized propaganda, right? Now, let's go back to the question. Where was I talking about? I was talking about, shit. Hold on. Here we go. The Iran-Contra scandal. Now, the Iran-Contra scandal, a two-sided crisis by the mid-'80s. Hold up, let's go back. So, wait. Let's see here. All right, so I had asked, how does the 1953 coup, is it connected to the Iran-Contra scandal, right? So 1953, the CIA and the British, probably M16 or M15, decide that they're going to get Mossadegh up out of there. They do. He's there for 25 years. The people in Iran, they can't do it anymore. They get together. They're known as the Islamic. They revolt, and this is known as the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The United States is pissed off. Britain is pissed off, right? So that's where we left off. Let's keep going. Now, we're at the Iran-Contra scandal, the two-sided crisis. By the mid
1980s, the Reagan administration faced two separate problems that they tried to solve with one legal plan. Problem A, Iran. American hostages were being held in Lebanon by Iran-backed groups, Hezbollah. Problem B, Nicaragua. The United States wanted to fund the Contras, anti-communist rebels in Nicaragua, but Congress had passed the Boland Amendment, strictly forbidding any more government funding from them. The solution, the U.S. secretly sold weapons to the revolutionary government in Iran, the very government that replaced the Shah. In exchange for help freeing the hostages. This is crazy. The profits from these secret sales were then illegally funneled to the Contras in Nicaragua. The drug connection. The link to the drugs being sold in America comes from Nicaraguan side of the scandal. Jesus. While in 1989, Senate committee confirmed that the Contras did indeed engage in drug trafficking and that the U.S. officials were aware of it, it stopped short of saying the CIA directly ran. Of course. Why would they say that? They're not going to admit to that. This is nasty work. So it actually, the United States was just wilding. I had it all wrong. I thought maybe because they got them up out of there, that they paid, that they caused another group to go against the Ayatollah. No. They wanted to do business with the same people who replaced the Shah in the first place. This is crazy. I don't know what we stand for. I don't know what we stand for. This is awful. This is pathetic. The pivot from ally to great Satan. Once Ayatollah Khomeini consolidated power, the entire U.S.-Iran relationship flipped overnight. America, which had propped up the Shah for decades, became the symbolic enemy of the new Islamic Republic. I mean, it's not a surprise, bro. What I don't understand is, why is America surprised? You pulled a fast one and got rid of Mohammed Mossadegh, and he was taking care of the people. Why would they love you? Like, why are you surprised that they hate your fucking guts? It's really simple. The Ayatollah Khomeini branded the U.S. the Great Satan, as he probably should have. A phrase that captured Iranian anger over decades of perceived interference, exploitation, and support for a repressive regime. The hostage crisis. In November 1979, Iranian students stormed the U.S. embassy in Tehran, taking 52 hostages, American hostages, for 444 days. The crisis shattered any remaining hope of diplomatic normalization. Well, obviously, the Iranian students should not have done that. But I think we're way past that point now, right? You know how students would be. Jesus. Let me find out if anybody got hurt. Did any of the U.S. hostages get hurt during that capture? but it did not result in fatalities or significant physical injuries of the hostages. Restraint, blindfolding, Marine security guards. Marine security initially used tear gas to hold back the crowds. Okay, so it was more theatrics. Nobody got hurt. Early releases. Shortly after the capture, the militant released 13 women and African Americans whom they argued were already oppressed by the U.S. government. I mean, they were right. One additional hostage, Richard Queen, was released in July 1980 after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Wow.
Okay. Uncle Andy says where they did get hurt was Operation Eagle's Claw. And this was the failed attempt to get these hostages back. And somebody died. Damn. Oh. What ever happened to those students? The fate of the students who sees the U.S. Embassy, known in Iran as the Muslim student followers of the Imam's line, is fascinating. Is it? I just want to know what happened. While the group was loose coalition of around 300 to 400 students from various Tehran universities, their paths diverged significantly. Okay, so I thought it was like 20 students. It was like 400 students. Many of the students' leaders used the momentum. Okay. Oh, she became vice president of Iran for women and family affairs. Sir. Okay, so they became famous. Okay, never mind. Yes, they became rich and famous. Good for you. All right. Now, I want to discuss my last piece of this show, and then I gotta go. What is communism, right? So to understand, let's get rid of that. Boom. I'll let you go. I won't keep the whole night with you guys. This effing guy says he has to go. Peace out, bro. I'm almost out of here, though. To understand why the U.S. feared Mozambique, you need to understand what communism meant to the Cold War era. As its core, communism is a political and economic ideology aiming to create a society with no social classes, no private property, and no state government. Well, look at that. Who's the fucking communist now? Huh? Because where are we headed, Americans? Where are we headed? I'm telling you right now, you got Klaus Schwab out here talking about we're going to eat bugs. They're pushing for no social class. Well, to be honest, they're pushing for the haves and have-nots, right? But if you look at some of the underhanded things they're doing right now, they're going around buying up all this property, right? So they really don't want you to happen. They're talking about you're going to be on a 50-year mortgage and okay, Omar's still here. They're talking about you're going to be on a 50-year mortgage. So it really looks like we're slowly, and they're rocking us to sleep. This is called they're rocking you to sleep. Slowly being pushed into something that's going to be very similar to communism. They may be going about it in a roundabout way, right? Do remember, Sam Altman already spent $13 million of his dollars of his own money to do a universal basic income study. And do remember, I was the first person to tell you to invest in WorldCoin because you're going to make some money off of it. Its guiding principle, popularized by Karl Marx. Okay, I don't really care about that. Let's keep on going. The 3 pillars of communist theory. Common ownership. Factories, land, resources are all owned collectively, not by individuals or corporations. The goal, eliminate the exploitation of workers for private profit. Well, I can tell you this. You don't have to worry about any factories and land and all that other stuff because they're slowly, like I said, that's what they're pushing for. And we're going to see how it turns out because, quite frankly, this one of the things is there's not going to be enough jobs, but you guys know that. The abolition of social classes, history. I don't want to read that either. I'm going to spare us the rest of this right here. I'm going to spare us that. And because I haven't eaten dinner, my wife cooked dinner for me. I got to go in there, watch a couple of episodes of The Closer. She's watching The Closer now. These are the summer shows. When it starts to get cold again, I guess we'll start watching Heart to Heart and The Golden Girls again. But things are spicing up as it gets warm, so we're watching The Closer. When she falls asleep, I turn to Peacock and I watch this new show, the MIA. Nonetheless, I think we came to do what we came to do tonight. That was a good show, no matter how you look at it. Uncle Andy says UBI, Universal Basic Income. Little what's that? Super spicy. Yeah. So, listen, I'm going to let y'all go. We did 3 hours. I only wanted to do 2. But I had to show. You know what? I enjoyed that movie, so I don't regret anything. We watched a little film. You understand? We had a great conversation. And chances are the people that needed to see this video tonight did not see it. Because they're the ones that's going to believe everything that's coming out of these politicians' mouths. But here's the thing. You and I both know there's a reason why Iran is acting and behaving the way it's acting. And it has nothing to do with 47 years ago and they're bombing our cars. And it's a way deeper story than that now you and I both know. Right? We learned a lot about the region tonight. We understand the politics that had went on. Yeah. No doubt, bro. I'm wild hungry. Right? Thank you, everybody. Winter, Little Foots, Omar, Uncle Andy. This effing guy, he had to leave. You understand? I appreciate everybody. Even I got somebody right here. He should have. Agarthius Native said, he's repeating as something I said. A lot of times I'm sarcastic. So I don't know what I said when I said, as he probably should have. I could have been serious. I could have been joking. Who knows?
That being said, yo, I will see y'all probably not this week. If anything, I don't know. It depends what comes up. I really don't like doing videos on the truck. We'll see. No doubt, no doubt. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Thanks for the contributions too. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah. Peace out.